Hello there! Just recently ECMA International published the official spec for the 9th edition of ECMAScript, also known as ECMAScript 2018. And I thought, isn't it a nice opportunity to pause and revisit what features were added in ECMAScript 2018. And this is exactly what this series will be about. ECMAScript 2018 and its new flavors for us developers. And in this video we are going to talk about object rest and spread properties. Let's start. As you might know, rest and spread elements were introduced back in 2015 as a part of ES6. And already for some time we could use rest elements for array destructuring, like in this example over here. I will add the link below. And we could use spread elements for array literals, like in example over here. As you notice, it's all about arrays and not object, whereas a new specification from 2018 introduces rest properties for object destructuring assignment and spread properties for object literals. Before we dive into the examples, let me show this very useful website where you can find a compatibility table for new features of different versions of ECMAScript. Here you can see all the features which were added in ECMAScript 2018 and how they are supported in different browsers. You can see that my current browser, which is Chrome, already supports all of these features. So for simplicity, we will be able to use the browser for all our experiments. So let's stay in Chrome and use code snippets to play with examples. Let me add a new code snippet, which we will call rest and spread elements. There is a tiny thing which I will have to do and which you might find confusing, but actually you shouldn't care about it. I will add here curly braces so that we encapsulate our scope, and when we rerun the same snippet, the engine will not complain that we are reusing the same elements. And it is time to code. I was thinking which objects we can play with to destructure and modify so it still makes some kind of sense, and I decided on parties. So let's imagine that we are planning a birthday party. Obviously we need a cake. Guests as well. What party without guests? A table for cake would be nice. Every guest will have a chair and tea. Let's drink some tea with the cake. Translated to the code, it will be something like this. Const
birthday party is an object which is cakes 1, 5, tables, also 1, chairs 5, and drink will be tea.
Now it is time to introduce the rest operator to destructure our birthday party. Let's say we burn the cake and realize we don't have enough chairs for our guests. Don't get upset yet, we have everything for a tea ceremony. In other words, we can represent our birthday party by a combination of chairs, cakes and a tea ceremony. Cakes and a tea ceremony. Ceremony. And this is equal to our birthday party. Perfect. Whereas chairs and cakes are existing properties of the object birthday party, tea ceremony is not. But by putting the rest operator in front of it, we tell the JavaScript engine that we want to collect all the rest of enumerable property keys, or just properties of birthday party, and assign them to this new object, which we call tea ceremony. And the engine kindly does this for us. Let's console log what we got. As expected, we got all the properties except of cakes and chairs. What should be also mentioned is that JavaScript engine is a very hard-working dude, and he will also create properties for chairs and cakes on top of tea ceremony. So if we console log, you can see that they both have values which we initially assigned to the birthday party. Okay, time to move on, and our next stop is a spread operator. Honestly, I find the spread operator to be the coolest thing they added in ES 2018. It's almost like fairy godmother from Cinderella with some extra skills. So what exactly we can do with the spread operator? First of all, we can clone objects. Let's remove these console logs for chairs and cakes, but leave the tea ceremony. Say we want to clone our tea ceremony. Tea ceremony second edition, and it will be equal to tea ceremony. So we have a duplicate for our tea ceremony. Now let's change what we will be drinking there. So tea ceremony second edition, we will be drinking, say, jasmine tea, and now let's console log. So you can see that we now have another object for tea ceremony with jasmine tea, and we have still the old one with the tea. However, the more common scenario would be to clone object and extend it at the same time. So let's take our tea ceremony and make a couple of changes. Imagine the guests rejected the invitation, but we just got subscribed to the Netflix. So what we have is kind of a Netflix evening. Let's translate it into the code. It will be an object which is copies tea ceremony, but on top of it, it changes number of guests and enables Netflix. Let's see what we got. And you can see that we got an object which is almost as a tea ceremony, but the number of guests was changed, and we get extra property for the Netflix. Nice, let's move on. Another pretty common scenario is merging two objects. Imagine we have another object containing cats data.
We have Christian cat, one item, how do you spell it? Siamese cat, probably like this, also one item, and say stray.
And if we mix Netflix evening with all these cats, what we can get is cat lady life. Probably my future life. Cat lady life is a combination of Netflix evening and cats. And if we console log it, we will get 0 guests. We have a table, a drink, Netflix, and 3 cats. Several things to mention about the spread operator. So like with the fairy godmother, after midnight the magic is over. Almost. The thing is, all of this is just a syntax sugar. This is not a new capability to the language. And you might ask, why did they even bother adding it? And the answer would be, this sugar helps us to define expressions in a shorter and cleaner way. However, the same can be done with object assign method. And exactly like object assign, this has exactly the same limitations. Namely, it will make a shallow copy. It will clone the top level properties, but the nested elements will be still shared among the old object and the new one, which, if used incorrectly, will lead to various issues and beautiful bugs in the code. So don't tell you haven't been warned. Today we talked about REST properties for object structuring assignment and spread properties for object literals as new features of ES 2018. I hope that you found this information useful. If you have any question, please post them below in the comments. Next time we will be talking about asynchronous iteration as a new feature in ES 2018. See you soon!